Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Wardoon. This is my mom, Gina.
He is the journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I'm enthusiastic. This is one of my favorite days ever. It's your birthday.
Yeah, it is my birthday. Woo, woo, woo. All right, yes.
They say it's your birthday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday too. It's actually not my birthday, but as your mom, I was there.
Yes.
It's a special day for both of us.
It is a special day for all of us, and we are really excited. Today is Throwback Thursday as well.
It is Throwback Thursday.
You are wearing your vintage Power Ranger shirt with the movie that just came out over the weekend. It actually did pretty well in the box office. I'm wearing my vintage Spider-Man shirt because if you know who I am a huge. Spider-Man fanatic. And so therefore I am rocking Spider-Man today.
Well, and I'm
this
wearing this in honor
Thursday.
of you because when you were a baby, your room was all a Mickey Mouse.
Mickey, yes.
And it went from Mickey Mouse to Power Rangers, and it stayed Power Rangers a long time.
Yeah, well,
so this is in honor of you.
Can't deny that. Well, we want to say thank you for joining us today on OTD. We've got a fun show. We're going to talk about all of the college basketball updates within the brackets on the men's and women's side. We've got the CIT, the CBI, the NIT, and then the men's and women's NCAA tournament.
Very cool.
So we've got a lot to talk about here, but we're really excited because we're now at the point in time of the tournament where it's the championships.
Yeah, we're down to the wire now.
We know where the Final Fours are, or who the Final Fours are for, excuse me, the NCAA tournament. And this is going to be a good time of year to really tune in and watch when you have nothing else going on this weekend. There's going to be some great basketball played, and so
it really is.
Let's get right into the CIT, because this is kind of it's not a random tournament, but it's not quite publicized as some of the other tournaments are publicized.
Yeah, it's definitely not random. It's the college invitational tournament. It's still an elite tournament because you have to be invited. It's not like, hey, my team won 3 games, let me just go. They have to. There's a committee, and they invite you. So the college invitational tournament, but it's a lot of your mid-major schools.
Yeah, a lot of mid-majors. There's a couple Division I, or not Division, they're all Division I, but a couple
your power
conference teams that kind of slide down into those positions. But like I said, it's not as highly publicized as some of the other tournaments are, so therefore it doesn't get quite the same coverage. So a lot of people don't know about it, but we've been covering it this whole time, and it's been really exciting to watch. And so we've got St. Peter's going up against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Now, I watched Texas A&M CC. This was a team that plays in the they play in the Southland Conference against New Orleans. Was the championship game in their conference tournament, and they were just down to the wire. Now, the winner of that conference makes it to the NCAA tournament. Now, New Orleans happened to win, and then they made it to the first round, and then they lost. But the fact is that the winner of that conference gets a chance to go play in the big dance.
What's really cool is the winner of that conference, the winner got to go to the big dance, but the runner-up is now in the finals of the CIT.
So that tells you how good this team is.
And has home field advantage. So St. Peter's has to go to Corpus.
Correct.
So that game is played tomorrow, March 31st at Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Yeah, so congratulations to them. So that's awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to the CBI.
The College Basketball Invitational.
Correct. And so this is a cool tournament because it's very similar to the CIT, where there are some mid-majors, but you still kind of have some power conference teams that get into that. It's kind of the in-between between the CIT and the NIT, which we'll talk about here in a second. And this is an interesting tournament because there's only 16 teams that are seeded for this one.
And I like their playoffs because when you get down to the wire, you play best out of 3. So it's a 2 out of 3. It's almost like a final series when you get down to the finals.
Once you get to the finals,
to the finals,
And that's just because there's only 16 teams. So you want to try to let the tournament go as long as it can. And so therefore you have potentially 3 games for the final. And it's really, or for the final round, which is really cool because none of the other tournaments have that.
No, it's very cool. So everybody else is one and done. Here's a tournament, when you get into the finals, it's 2 out of 3. And so in the finals, you have Wyoming versus Coastal Carolina at Wyoming. And Coastal Carolina won the first game. Wyoming tied it up yesterday and won the second. So it's down to the wire.
This is
the last game. It's finally one or done. And it's at Wyoming. So it's Coastal Carolina at Wyoming. Tomorrow again, March 31st. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. That's really fun. Cool. I'm getting excited thinking about these games. And the CIT is streaming on Facebook Live for those that don't have some of the cable networks that do carry the games. I think it's on CBS Sports Network.
It is.
But it's all the games have been streamed on Facebook Live. And then the CBI will be on ESPNU.
And hey, our very own Kansas City Kangaroos.
Yes, UMKC. Yes,
they were battling. They only lost to Wyoming.
Yes, they won the first round game against Green Bay here at home in Kansas City.
Very cool.
And then the team that they lost to was Wyoming, who's in the championship. So there you go. Yes. All right. So let's move on to the NIT here.
There we go. This has been exciting.
Yeah. My goodness. And this is obviously a very historic tournament. The National Invitational Tournament.
Yes.
It's being played in MSG, Madison Square Garden.
Which is so cool.
It's awesome.
I mean,
what a great venue down there in Manhattan, New York. It's really fun. And so now you've got TCU coming out of the Big 12. Made a lot of noise towards the end of the year.
Knocked off KU in the Big 12
tournament. Yes, they
tournament.
did. Big shocker. They've really done a good job this year. They've got a brand new coach who's really invested into these guys. They will be a team to be reckoned with next year.
They are.
And they really shored up that bottom end of the Big 12.
Well, and they had to beat UCF in the NIT Final Four. They called the semifinal, but the Final Four was UCF versus TCU. TCU won. And then on the other side of it.
Yes, you've got Georgia Tech, who beat Cal State Bakersfield, who, again, a UMKC reference, coming out of the WAC, Western Athletic Conference, who actually had a really good year this year as well. So this has been a really good basketball season, at least postseason, and we're really excited. So the NIT has Georgia Tech and TCU, and that game is being played tonight on my birthday, which I'm really excited for. So I'll be
Madison Square Garden.
in Madison Square Garden.
It's kind of nice because you've got two major, you've got two power conferences.
Yes,
the
ACC.
Big 12, the ACC.
Yes, Big 12.
So let's see.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on.
Who comes out. I'm going Big 12, but we'll do our predictions later.
Okay.
All right, can I talk about the women?
Let's go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, the women's Final Four are coming up right now, and I'm so excited because you've got South Carolina, Dawn Staley. You've heard us talk about her a lot on this show, versus Stanford. Again, another great powerhouse. There's amazing stories out of Mississippi State.
Yes.
The young lady who scored 41 points almost 3 years to the day of her father's passing versus the powerhouse dominant UConn Huskies. That they are like, I don't know, 111 games now, 112, 130, something crazy number of straight wins. If UConn makes it to the finals and wins, this will be their 5th straight national champion. I mean, it's just amazing. All these games, by the way, the NIT and the women's NCAA are all on ESPN.
Correct.
So you can catch all those games.
Right, and it's really exciting because these girls are playing at a really high level. I should say the women. These are grown women. These are grown women playing this game, and they're doing a great job. And the competition's been really, really strong, and so it's awesome. Okay, well, we got the Final Four for the women's side of the NCAA bracket. Let's talk about the men's side here quickly. We've got kind of an interesting Final Four, as some of these teams weren't really expected. We've got South Carolina and Gonzaga. A lot of people said Gonzaga could make it to the Final Four. I actually did not.
I did not
but they proved me wrong, and a lot of other people wrong. But South Carolina, they are in the Final Four. And then you got North Carolina and Oregon. That will be an interesting game, especially because Oregon really manhandled KU in the Elite Eight round here in Kansas City. And I know there are a lot of disappointed Jayhawks, but that was a good game for Oregon.
Well, and you want to, some of us want to say KU didn't play well versus the Ducks manhandled them. I'll just say both of those things happened. KU did not play well, and the Ducks manhandled them. So both those things happened.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about there were 24 schools that had men's and women's teams, both in the NCAA, and we ended up with one school that has both. South Carolina, Dawn Staley and Frank Martin. The women's and the men's. So I'd love to see that.
Well, and Oregon almost had the exact same thing too. Oregon's women's team came up against UConn, and so therefore they got knocked out. But that also could have happened. And the last time that we had this where UConn's men's and women's one was just a few years ago, where the UConn men went on that crazy run in the postseason, and then the women also took home the championship. So it's really cool. It's so much parity.
There's so much going on right now.
It's been a great, like I said, it's been a great tournament season. You've got the CIT, the CBI, the NIT, then we've got the women's side of the bracket, the men's side of the bracket. This has been a great turnout for a lot of teams. Some people are saying the men's Final Four might be a little bit duddish because they wanted Duke and they wanted Villanova and some of the other teams.
Hey, don't sleep on Gonzaga. Don't sleep on Frank Martin.
Great coach. And
plus you got Roy Williams.
Roy Williams and Dana Altman. These are great teams. This is going to be fun. It's going to be high flying. It's going to be a great tournament or end to the tournament. And so Dallas is where the women's is going to be hosted, and Phoenix is where the men's is going to be hosted for the NCAA tournament
this weekend.
Yes,
so enjoy it, folks.
Yes, we're really excited, and we want to say we appreciate your time, and we'll see you again, folks.